Hey guys, Fire here from InDepth Gaming, bringing you another game review. This time we're checking out Loopindex. This game is developed by SumPX, published by Ratalaika Games, and released on June 25th, 2021 for a price of $4.99. At the time of recording this video, the game is on sale for $3.99, so you might be able to save a couple bucks. So what is Loopindex? Loopindex is a kind of a puzzle programming style game where you control two little characters here that you see on screen, this orange guy and this blue guy. What you do with these guys is you have different button combinations that you can kind of function with them. So I can alternate between them, but I can also program them to basically run in one direction by just hitting a button, and they'll kind of continue going that way until I interrupt and force them to change pathways again. Ultimately, what this means is I have to navigate various puzzle areas to try to figure out the best way to get them to complete said sections. Now, when you see these red zones, I can't walk into any of these areas, but the way I navigate those red zones is I send the characters in through this kind of programmed method. But what I have to do is sometimes when they're moving, I have to alternate to the other characters to be able to actually do anything. So if you see here, the other character is actually moving, but I have to control this guy to be able to give my other character an opportunity to move around and function. And then the ultimate goal of every level is to get all of your characters into this little box, and then you can navigate around. Now the game introduces early on, as you can see, we're only on one of the very early levels, new mechanics and things that you have to really try to figure out to solve and get around all the levels while you're playing. So now early on I have to move and push boxes to build pathways to walk around to get both of my guys to my levels. This will later develop into frogs and bombs and even a boss fight part of the way through the game. Now speaking of the game, it'll probably take a person without a guide a couple hours to get through all these levels if you're not really familiar with figuring out like puzzled solutions and really setting up your characters for success, but it's nothing that's really too overly impossible or difficult to do. You're just going to spend a lot of time trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work, and how you navigate everything around. So as you can see, I have to really figure out on this puzzle here what my best outcome is by moving all my characters around and hitting the button sequences to get things set into position. Now, as I progress further into the game, those puzzles are going to get astronomically more intense. So let's dive in real quick and I'll just show you what a later puzzle will kind of look like. Speaking of later puzzles, the game features, I believe it's well over 50 levels. As you can see here, I got all the way up to stage 50, but to beat the game from the achievement standpoint, you only need to beat the first 49 levels. Level 49 is a boss fight, and then from there after that, you'll just start proceeding into other stages of the game. Now, if you can see here, some of the interesting mechanics that we're experiencing now is I'm all the way up into having teleporters that move boxes around that allow me to control many different switches and interactions in the game, and that's just going to continue to change as I progress further and further in the game and start to figure out and solve all these levels. And I have to really think and work about how I'm going to complete all these various areas. Now, some of the puzzles won't require you to do everything. Some things may seem needed, but aren't realistically needed in the game. So it's quite interesting when you're playing to really figure out what you have to do and what you don't have to do while going through everything. Overall, I think Loopindex is a great puzzle game. I love, as you guys have heard me review many of them on the channel before, I'm a big puzzle game fan, and I think Loopindex brings a little bit of something different that we haven't seen for recent puzzle games, and I really, really do enjoy it. If I have to give this game any type of a rating or review, I'm probably looking at giving the game, I don't know, I'd probably give it about a 7 out of 10. I think it's a ton of fun, but at the same time, it's nothing too overly difficult or too complex in the same sense, but it is still a very, very fun game to sit and try to figure out what to do, how to play it, and where things really navigate when you're getting through. Some of the puzzles, like I said, will be frustrating, but there are already guides online to help walk you through every single level should you get stuck in anything. So it's one of those things that you don't have to really worry too much about. You're just going to have to really figure out how to navigate around everywhere while also just not dying. I do enjoy the game, and I definitely recommend picking it up. What we'll do here is I'll let this last puzzle here kind of finish out. If you guys do want to check the game out, as always, we'll have a link down in the description. I hope you guys do enjoy this review. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.